Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Krystle, the Pro Beauty. Yeah, so guys, you know the drill by now. Hit that subscribe button. Get your fingers on that subscribe button. So I'm going to tell you guys how I became a national athlete for Trinidad and Tobago. How I became part of the national team of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. What I didn't tell you guys on the last video is that I would train, and I remember Nado at the time, she was coaching me and she was like, oh, you should try out for the national team. And I was like, wow, the national team of Trinidad and Tobago, I should give it a try. I was like, oh, I should give it a try. Like Mr. Honoré was like, yeah, you should go, you should go. And I think I was like 18 at the time. Yeah, I think I was 18. Now when I got to national training, these girls were running. I remember running. We were in Port of Spain in Jean Pierre complex, and I remember running the entire stairs of the outside court, all the way up down, round and round. Then we went inside to the volleyball court and we were still running. I remember these girls running, but there were so many girls there, like so many talented girls. The setters were good, the liberos, like everybody was so good. I remember this meeting we had for the selection of the team. I don't know where, I can't remember where the team was going, but I remember the selection of the team. And I remember, so all the girls were sitting down outside. They were like, you know, the coaches were there, they were gonna pick the team. And I remember sitting down, and I remember an argument taking place. Like, truthfully, I remember an argument taking place, and I remember it was like I was like there, and I was like, I don't remember thinking twice. And I remember basically I was like, you can't talk to her like that. I just stood up. I was just like, you can't talk to her like that. You cannot disrespect somebody like that. I don't know where the thought came out of her from. And it basically boiled down like, who are you to talk? You're nothing. That was like the response I got. You're not even a good volleyball player. But I remember thinking this, like, if this is how you treat people here, I don't want to be a part of this. After somebody said to you that you're not good and not even a good player, as like much. I remember going home to my mom. I remember crying to my mom. I remember really crying and saying to her, Mom, these people are so mean, and these people are so dead, and these people are so that. And I was telling her everything that happened that night. And I remember not going to practice for a long time, going to club practice. I remember just staying home. When I stayed home, I was working at the time. I remember going to work, and maybe occasionally I would go to practice. So in 2005 it was, no, 2006, in January around that time, I was in club practice, and one of my friends I made in the club team, she called me. This girl was Riza. I'm gonna shout her out on the video because she did that. And she called me and she was like, hey Krystle, you need to come to practice. And I was like, okay. She's like, no, not the club practice, the national team practice. I was like, girl, I ain't going there. These people ain't going to see me. I was like, I'm not going around these people, and I don't want no part of the national team. She's like, girl, they changed everything. She's like, girl, they changed everything. They got a new coach, they got a new everything. There's a new coach. He's Cuban, he's not from Trinidad, he's new. Everything is changed, and you need to come. We're training in person, you need to come. I was like, I'm good. And I remember she's calling me. She called me a lot of times. Like, she called me. When she saw me in the club practice, she's like, girl, you gotta come, you gotta come. And she pestered me into coming. I was like, okay, I give in. I remember telling my mom, I was like, I'm going to national training. They had training in St. Paul's Street in Port of Spain. I'm going there, everybody's training, everybody. One thing I noticed though, that everybody was not running. We were not running. And I was like, yes, in my mind. I was like, oh my God, thank God we didn't run it. Thank God we were not running. I was too glad not to run. So we were training, we were warming up. I introduced myself to the girl. I remember going to this practice training, and the coach didn't say nothing. The new coach, he was Cuban, he was short, and he did not speak English very well. He didn't speak English, and he didn't say anything. And he just like, everybody go train. We went and trained. He gave us a series of drills to do, work to do, conditioning to do. And I met this girl. I met a lot of girls there that day, and I connected to quite a few of them. After the practice, he called out to me and another girl, and he called us into the stand to sit down to talk with us. I was like nervous. I'm like, why is he calling us in the stand? Like, why? Like, okay, come sit down. After the practice, the coach will talk to you. And I was like, okay. So I remember he sitting us down, and he said to us in his broken Cuban English, we call it Spanglish. Literally, it was broken. It was really bad at that time. It was really bad. I barely could have gotten by with what he said. And he said to me, he said to us basically, he said, have you ever heard somebody paying you to play volleyball? I was like, you get paid for this? Volleyball pays? Because at that time, all I knew about volleyball was getting a scholarship. Like, you would play volleyball to get a scholarship to go and play in the US. So that was the goal. Like, you know, you play volleyball to get a scholarship to the US. But then he's bringing this where you can get paid for volleyball. I'm like, whoa. Whoa. Say that again. And he said yes. He said there's some people stupid enough to pay you to do something that you love. That was his words. I was like, what? He's like, yes, but you have to work hard. You have to work hard to be able to become that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be paid. I want to be paid as a volleyball player. I was wrong too. I was like, you don't gotta tell me more, sign me up. I remember the word that this coach spoke to me, that if I work hard enough, I can be great. He even said, like, I can be a great volleyball player. I was like, wow. And to this day, I'm thankful that he sowed that seed into me to become a volleyball player. So this is how I became a national team athlete. When the coaches believed in me, it took that one person to believe in me that I can. So after the coach told me, like, he sold me on the story, sold me on this dream that I can become a professional volleyball player also. He said, you have to play, you can be great. And when he sold me on that dream, he said I have to come to practice every day. And I was like, okay, I'm coming to practice. So during that time, I was working and playing volleyball. I was leaving work to go to practice. I would even ask my bosses to give me some time off early to go to practice all the way to Port of Spain. And I would go to practice and train every afternoon, 6 days a week. I would do this. I would work in the day, go to practice in the afternoon, and I did this. And I remember doing this for a very long time. I remember when they had the tournament that we were training for was the CVC. It was CVC in 2006. And I remember the coach, everybody was sitting down, and I remember he was picking out the list of players to train, to be part of this team. And I was like, oh my god, I hope I make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I hope I make it. I hope I get on this team. I want to be on this team. I would be so sad if I don't. So I was eating at myself. And then when he reached like number 11, he was calling it out, and then he said my name, number 12. On the outside, I was like, yay. On the outside, I was like, no, on the outside, I was playing it down. I was like, yeah, okay, I know it's good. But on the inside, girl, I was jumping, I was like, and the coach was like, yeah, you're in the 12 and you're selected to be part of the Trinidad and Tobago national team. It was an amazing moment for me because I knew the work that I put in. I knew that I wanted to be here. From that moment, the coach said, you can be a great player. I knew I wanted to be here, and I made the sacrifices to be there. And when he called me to be on the national team, I played in CVC 2006, and yeah, so that is how I became a national volleyball player. Like, for me, I can say this to you now, like, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up when somebody tells you no. If you know it in your heart that God placed this vision, this dream, this talent in you, don't give up. Don't give up on it. Fight for it. Fight for it. And if somebody believes in you, take their word for it. They mean it. They mean that you're gonna be great, and they actually mean that you're gonna be great, and they will stay, they support you. So guys, thank you for looking at my video. Hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for my next video. Bye.